in the house, and something slapped him and pinned him against the wall. So today's story is based back in 2016 when I had to move house due to my landlord's sister needing a house. So he had to say to us, unfortunately, we've got to leave. Little did we know this was going to spark a nightmare. So the whole way this thing started was we moved into the house. Now straight from the get-go, when we moved into this house, there were strange things going on straight away. These strange things consisted in my room mainly, and I will give you some more on why it's mainly my room. It's just mainly my room. So, when we moved into this house, straight from the get-go, first night, I had a very small room. My bed was placed like this, and over there, so I would lie in bed and look here, yeah? Over there would be a rack with my clothes on, because I didn't have enough room to have a wardrobe, so I just had a rack where I put hangers on with the clothes on, yeah? So, this rack, for some reason, I always used to think something was there. Now, you may think, oh, you were just a kid, that's normal for kids, they always think this. Like, there's a monster under my bed. No, it wasn't like that. I had a feeling, okay? And I wasn't that young. I was 11. I was going into year 7. It was my first year of high school. So I wasn't that young, but I was young. So I would always get a creepy feeling about this part of my room. And it would bring me to sleepless nights, countless sleepless nights. I'd be in bed. I'd be looking here. Like, I can't see anything, but I just feel like something's looking at me. I'd be sweating, heart pumping, like, I didn't know what was going on. I had to sleep with my door open and my light on a lot of nights. So that's the first thing that happened, okay? So, later on, a couple months go by, still having this problem. Then we start hearing bangs in the night. And this is where it gets super weird and super crazy. The bangs in the night would go on all through the night, but it wouldn't just be a bang, it'd be a bang, and then we had a dog as well, a little Yorkie, and the Yorkie would cry because the Yorkie would sleep downstairs. Now, I know this is going to sound kind of sad, but we were all too scared to go downstairs and check on the Yorkie, as you can imagine. I mean, put yourself in the position, yeah? You're in a house where you don't know why you're feeling weird and you're sweating, your heart's pumping, and all of a sudden it progresses to you start hearing bumps in the night and the dog is crying, which only justifies the bumps even more, because now you know, if the dog can hear it and the bump's coming from downstairs and it's making the dog cry, there's definitely something weird going on. So, that was the second thing, bumps in the night. And then the third thing that would happen was, I was lying in bed, and this is where it gets crazy, guys. I was lying in bed and I felt weird, like I always would, felt weird. So I've turned over to try and go sleep like this, and in this here ear, I've heard someone whisper, hey. I swear, plain as day, heard someone whisper, hey. So obviously, as soon as this has happened, I've gone, what was that? Like, instantly scared, okay? And I know I was 11 to 12, but I ran in my mum's room, okay? I could not cope with that. I had to run into my mum's room. My mum got up, and I kid you not, it was like she was possessed. She got up and she goes, he. And I was like, Mum, like, I'm trying to tell her that I'm scared. I'm trying to explain what's just happened. I want to sleep in her bed. I don't want to sleep in my room. And she's there saying, there's a psycho in the house. And then she took me to the bathroom, and then she went back to bed. I cannot explain to this day why she did that, and she doesn't even remember that happening. Whatever was in this house must have been a powerful entity. It's either, I reckon it's a demon, because this story just gets crazier, guys. So that was kind of my limit. I didn't want to stay in the house no more. You know, I'm a young kid, I'm scared. So, a couple more months go by, this is all still happening, bangs in the night, sweating, can't get sleep, feel like someone's watching me, more whispers in my ear. It's just getting worse and worse for me. I've started high school, I'm stressing out, like, new place, new people, like, I've got work, I've got homework, I've got assignments, and this is happening to me and I'm not getting sleep. then it gets worse. So what happens next is we go from bumps, whispers, sleepless nights, sweating. Now it gets crazier. I start seeing things, seeing shadows run past in the corner of my eyes, and I'm like, have I just seen something? Is that real? Like, you know, is my mind playing tricks on me because I'm not getting enough sleep? I couldn't explain it. This one particular night, I remember, my mum and sister were arguing, and we were all in the living room. They were arguing, and then we put a film on. The film was Insidious 2, I remember. I know horror film, like, oh, horror story, horror film. It's fake, it's not fake, I swear. We were watching Insidious 2, and we had a plant. It was in a vase, like this flower thing. It was a fake flower, but what happened was, it came down like this, and then if you can imagine, like, it just pinging back up, because it's meant to stand straight, so it came back, pinged back up, and then it was obviously vibrating when it pinged back up. My mum looked me dead in the eyes and goes, "Did you just do that?" Because we all saw it, and I said, "No, I didn't do it." And she goes, "Blow on it now," because she wanted to see if I'd blown on it or like how it had moved. So I blew on it as hard as I could, it didn't move. She then said, "Stand up and blow on it." So I stood up, I got right next to it, because I was on the sofa, the TV's there, so I'm quite a distance away. I get up, I blow on it. Even when I blow on it, it doesn't come all the way down as slow as it did and ping back up. And then we hear running upstairs, like from my room to her room, to my sister's room, to the bathroom, just running upstairs. And we had a sign on the bathroom door, because there was a bathroom upstairs and a bathroom downstairs. We had a sign on the bathroom door that said love or home, one of those, you know, the signs. And it had been turned around. It had been turned around, so it didn't say love or home. I can't remember which one it said, but it had been turned around. Now, we couldn't explain that because that never gets turned around. We knew, like, it's always stayed there, because if it was turned around, it says nothing, so what's the purpose of it? You know what I mean? My mum was trying, because obviously she's got 2 kids, and we're all scared now because we've just witnessed this thing. We're hearing footsteps upstairs, the sign's turned around, a lot is going on in a short period of time, and the kids are scared. So to try and put us at ease, my mum says, "I've seen a mouse in the house, and the mouse could have knocked the plant." So instantly, like, I'm relieved. And then the next thing that happens is, to explain the sign, she says, "Oh, maybe because we were arguing earlier, you slammed the door and the sign turned round." But the footsteps upstairs, she couldn't explain. She was trying to say the mouse might have gone in the walls, but it was the floor upstairs. So we left the house because we were all shooken up, and obviously my mum knows it wasn't a mouse, so she just made an excuse, "Let's go see Nan." So we left the house and we went to my nan's house. My mum was talking to my nan about what happened. My nan is a Jehovah's Witness, so she was like trying to give advice. She gave my mum a Bible and a cross, so we slept with that in the house. We ended up going back, and then we went on holiday to Australia. And my dad, because my mum and dad aren't together, my dad had to sleep at the house downstairs. Now, my dad said he had an eerie feeling about the bathroom door, which was in the kitchen. The kitchen was here, and the bathroom door was there, and we had a mirror here. And there's actually a picture that was taken in that house where you can see my mum taking a picture of my nan's hair, and in the background, there's a figure. I will put that picture up now. Tell me what you think of it in the comments. It's not edited in any way. This is how the picture was. Tell me what you think in the comments, because I'd love to know your opinions on it. It's crazy. I still to this day, I don't know what it was. So anyway, my dad's sleeping in the house because we're in Australia. So he's looking after the house for us, just making sure, because it was in a bad neighborhood. It was a council estate. I live in the UK, council estate, very bad neighborhood. So my dad's in there just making sure nothing gets robbed, like everything's fine. So he starts moaning, saying he doesn't feel comfortable sleeping in the house downstairs because he's getting a really bad feeling from this bathroom. So anyway, when we come back, he tells us these stories like bangs in the night, etc, etc, can't sleep, feeling like someone's watching him, feeling an evil presence, everything that I've been experiencing. So then we're back now. We're back in the house. Dad's gone. We're back in this living nightmare. my uncle has got with this girl and they've had a baby. So my auntie by marriage has come with the baby to show us the baby, and so is my uncle. Now, my auntie by marriage, she is a Muslim, so she believes in jinns. Ignore that, that's just my cat. So she believes in jinns, which is basically the same as a demon, evil spirit. So she takes the baby into the house, like she's got the baby in her hands. She goes to the bathroom with the baby, the downstairs bathroom where my dad felt an eerie feeling like someone was watching him, a bad presence. So she goes in this room. The baby starts crying. She goes, no, there's something bad here. You can sense something, there's something bad here. Something's not right. And my mum's like, what do you mean? And she says, something's not right. There's something evil in here, this room. So that freaks us all. So they go then. Yeah, they go home. We're left in the house freaking out, okay? So I'm like freaked out at this point because everything that's happening is just, it's crazy. So I don't mean to be vulgar, but to get through this story, I'm going to have to explain everything that happened in the house, because you need as much information as you can to understand how bad this was for me and how traumatic this was for me as a 12 to 11-year-old boy, because we lived in that house for 2 years. So my mum's sitting downstairs, me and Lily, Lily's my sister, me and Lily are in bed. My mum hears my sister say, Mum. So she says, yeah? And then she hears again, Mum. Yeah? Oh. So then she goes up the stairs. So she's walking up the stairs and she looks in my room, because I slept with my door open, like I said. Looks in my room and I'm asleep. Looks in my sister's room and she's asleep. So she can't explain who's been shouting her name. So she just thinks, because she's scared, she's the only one awake in the house. She's sitting downstairs on her own. She's thinking, oh, one of the kids is just speaking in their sleep. So then she goes back down the stairs. She sits in the living room and she hears a man's voice say, pig slut. So she's like, oh, the neighbours are arguing. She looks outside. No one's out there. No one's there. It's completely pitch black. Everyone's in bed. Everyone's in the house. So this voice, she can't explain where it's come from. It's just come from thin air is what it seems like. And it scares her to the point where she has to go bed, put her earplugs in and just try and forget about everything that's happened. I think she FaceTimed her best mate actually before she went to sleep. That's how scared she was. So we go on holiday again because we have family in Australia. We go on holiday again. So my dad's watching the house again, blah blah blah, same routine. Sorry guys, I'm a bit sick at the moment, so bear with me. Blah blah blah, same routine. My mum's best mate lived opposite the road from us, and she messages my mum because my dad would only go and check on the house like at a certain time because he has work, so he'd be working, and then he'd go to the house at about 5 or 6. So she messages my mum, who's the woman in Brad's room? My mum says, there shouldn't be any women in the house. There shouldn't be anyone in the house right now, because this was at a time where Dad's at work. And she goes, oh, I've just seen a woman in Brad's room wearing a white dress. Now that is just classical horror stuff right there. A figure in a white cloak or white dress, like, that's classical horror stuff right there. So instantly when I figured this out, because my mum didn't tell me straight away, but we have a very close relationship, so she ended up telling me. And as soon as I figured this out, I was like, my room, why my room? It just had to be my room. So anyway, we go back, and I don't want to go back. We go back, and the craziest things start to happen. It gets way worse than it was before. This time, I'm not just seeing things in the corner of my eye, I'm seeing things in person. And this one particular time, it completely freaked me out. So, sorry guys. So, my other auntie, because I have two aunts, well, I have a couple of aunts, I have a big family, yeah. So my other auntie, she has a brother, and he's around about the same age as me at the time, 12 to 11, something like that. So I go to this party because it's my little cousin's party, and my auntie says, oh, this is my brother, I make friends with him, he wants to sleep in my house. So I said, yeah, sure, you can sit at my house, play a card, eat some crisps, you know, like casual sleepover kind of things. So we're having the sleepover. I've got a bunk bed, so he's on top bunk, I'm on bottom bunk. We turn the lights off after we've had a good night of playing card and everything. I feel more comfortable because someone's actually in my room sleeping with me. And then we turn the lights off. We're just talking, chatting before we go sleep, as kids do on our phones. I look to the side, and by my desk, there's a figure like this. A black shadowy figure with red eyes, and it kind of looked like the eyes were glowing. Instantly, I was frozen in fear, and I was like, do you see that? Do you see that? And he was like, see what? So I said, look down, because he's on the top bunk. So I said, look down. He looks down, and he goes, what is that? What is that? Starts freaking out. And I'm like, I don't know. He somehow convinces me to turn the lights on. So I ran to the lights, and I turn it on quickly. I turn back, and it's gone. But I swear to this day, I saw something there. It couldn't have been like, oh, maybe something was stacked up right, because there was nothing stacked up by the desk. It was just a desk and then an empty black corner. And I swear I saw something, and he swears to this day he saw something as well. So that's probably the craziest thing that happened to me in that house. I couldn't sleep at all that night. I was waking up with scratches on my neck. I had a red mark around my neck. I got in from school one day, I remember, and my mum hadn't seen me much in the morning, but I still had this mark on my neck, and she was convinced I'd been fighting at school. She said, did someone strangle you? I was like, no one strangled me, nothing like that's happened. I was waking up with scratches on my back, scratches all around me, like bruises that I couldn't explain. All this crazy stuff was happening to me, and I was so young, I couldn't comprehend any of it. I still have bad dreams about that house to this day. But like I said, guys, I put that photo in the video, so tell me what you think. Is this an evil entity, or was this a good entity? And what do you think about the picture and the figure? I'd love to know. Comment down below, that's what I want to know. Back to the story. We had more people sleep over, and it got to the point where people didn't want to sleep over in the house because it just has such a weird feeling about it. It has such a bad feeling about it. The house naturally had a feeling of something's there, something's watching you, but like, something's watching you, but it's a bad feeling. Like, they're not looking at you nicely, they're looking at you like, you know, pure evil intent. Looking at you with evil intent. That's what I'm trying to get at. It was a horrible feeling. Really horrible. So, my mum and dad get back together, and this is the final straw. My mum and dad get back together. My dad wakes up before everyone else. So he's going to go downstairs to probably have a fag, maybe have some breakfast. So he gets to the top of the stairs, and something pushes him down the stairs. He falls and lands in the shoebox. We had a little wooden shoebox, and his foot just goes straight through the shoebox. So that's probably the craziest thing that happened in that house. And that was the last straw. We started looking for a new house, and we moved out after that. Now, after we had moved out that house, we actually got information off the person who my mum was best mates with, who lived across the road, that before we even moved in, teenagers had broken into the house and had a party, and my mum's best mate who lived across the road was in her early 20s, so she did go as well. She obviously didn't know my mum before we moved in, so obviously, like, she didn't know we were going to move in there, and she was sorry for this, and she's sorry she didn't tell us before. So all these kids had broken into the house, had a party, drinking alcohol. They had done a Ouija board in the room that I slept in. So it's no wonder why all these things were happening. I mean, that's the only thing that links me with everything that was going on in that house. Like, that's the only reason I can think of to why crazy things were going on in the house, because there was no other reason. There was no history of like people dying there, like built on a cemetery like you see in the horror movies. There was no explanation. That was the only explanation. So after we moved out, because my mum's best mate lived opposite the road, my mum said to her, like, oh yeah, all these weird things would happen in the house, like, can you ask the new people that moved in if anything weird's happened to them? So she goes over to the house, our old house, our old house now, because we've moved from that house now. And she says to him, oh yeah, I had a mate who lived here, and she said a lot of weird things happened. I was just wondering if anything weird happened with you. And the people that lived there were Muslim, so they had a Quran. And the Muslim woman goes, yeah, actually, something has happened here. And it's crazy. Like, this is worse than anything that's ever happened to us at that house. So she says that her husband was reading the Quran, because obviously, you know, Muslims, they pray a certain amount of times a day. He was reading the Quran and something swore at him. So he thought it was a jinn, because that's part of their religion. So he thought it was a jinn, so he gets someone from the mosque to come to say a blessing or whatever they do. I don't know about the religion, whatever they do in the house. And something slapped him and pinned him against the wall, the person who was doing the blessing with the Quran. It also threw the Quran that was originally in the house at the man, and that's like the craziest thing that's ever happened in that house. I don't know any more stories because my mum is no longer friends with the woman who lived across the road from that house, so I don't know any more stories, but that was the one story I heard from someone who moved in after us, and that's the craziest thing I've ever heard that happened in that house. That house was pure evil. I'm actually thinking about if I could have the opportunity to go back to that house and do a ghost hunt there, because what you guys may not know, but I'll link it down in the description below, we have a group YouTube channel with me and some of my friends, and it's called Unpopular Fiends. We do ghost hunts, we're planning on doing podcasts, we're planning on doing challenges, we're planning on doing skits, we're going to do all these good videos, so go check that down below in the description. I've got it linked in the description. Go check that channel out, show us some love. Yeah, we would really like the support. So that's been the end of this story, guys. I hope you enjoyed. It's one of my stories from my house, obviously, but on this channel I am going to be doing other people's stories as well. Dark, mysterious, horror, stories that can't be explained, people going missing that can't be explained, all that good stuff. So if you are bored at night and you are sitting on your phone and you're texting and you're wondering, oh, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do? I'm bored. Come check out the channel, guys. Come check out the channel. We're going to have a new story uploaded every week, at least once a week. I can't guarantee a schedule because I want to make sure all my videos are to the top quality for you guys. But we're definitely going to have a video out every week. The videos are going to be top quality. I'm going to edit them as best as I can. I don't have much money wise or equipment wise, but I'm going to do it as best as I can with what I do have. So I hope you can understand, and I'm sorry if it's not to your liking, but I'm really trying. If you could drop a comment, a like, subscribe, show me some love please, guys. I'm trying to grow my channel. This is my first video. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you want more stories, comment down below. If you have any suggested stories you'd like me to cover, comment down below as well. I will be covering more stories from myself and from other people online. So if that's what you're into, guys, come on, hit that subscribe button harder than KSI is going to hit Tommy Fury. Anyway, guys, without further ado, big love, and I'll see you in the next video.